Hi there, beautiful people. It's Chelsea Ward here. I want to talk to you a little bit today about a Dexa scan I just had. You know, around this time of year, we start talking a lot about our weight and things like that. So I have a lot of clients who want to get on the scale every single day. And the problem with the scale is that it doesn't give us an accurate measure of our body composition. So I want to show you the results of my latest Dexa scan and how that can benefit you over getting on the scale. So let's take a look. So this is the first page of my report, and I've been working with Mike at Live Lean RX, and he's the one that performed my Dexa scan as well as my Fit 3D scan. And today I just want to talk to you about the Dexa scan, and that's what you're looking at here. The Dexa scan is actually going to give us a more accurate information on our body composition as a whole, because we're looking at more than just one number on the scale. So we're looking at body fat percentage, we're looking at bone, lean muscle, and a few other metrics in the body. So I'm just going to share my numbers with you and get pretty vulnerable here about the measurements that I received for my test. So on this first page, you're actually looking at my total percent of body fat. And you can also see the the pounds, how many pounds I am in total. You can see the fat tissue, that's the number there in red. And then the number in green is the lean tissue. So as you get additional scans, which this was my first one with Mike, as you get additional scans, you can see that we're going to be able to plot these numbers on a graph to see how these numbers change over time. And this is a glance of page 2 from the Dexa scan. The really cool thing about this is that it tells us this number right here. This visceral adipose tissue, which is the number here, 0.15, it tells us how much fat is pretty much surrounding our organs. So you want that number to be as low as possible. So this kind of gives you information on that. So ideal is anywhere from 0 to 52. And you can see that my number is 0.15. So that's really good. That's a very low visceral fat. That means I have healthy amount of fat and tissue surrounding my organs. So a lot of this comes from diet. So if you have your diet on point and you're eating pretty squeaky clean, then of course your number is going to be low. But if you start taking in a lot of fried foods, a lot of alcohol and things like that, you're going to see that number increase. With an increase in your visceral fat comes disease processes in those organs. So we start seeing our cholesterol rise. We start seeing our blood pressure go up. We start seeing fatty liver disease and things like that take place. So here's what some of those numbers can get up to. That's increased risk, and that's high. And this is a really high risk, would be anything above 112. So you may hear people talk about being either apple-shaped or pear-shaped, and that just tells us what type of fat we have in our body. So when we have more fat surrounding our organs, the visceral fat, like we just saw in the example here, then we also see different things associated with that. We hear the words obesity, metabolic syndrome, and even things like type 2 diabetes. So metabolic syndrome is just when someone has high blood pressure, they're overweight, and they have insulin sensitivity or blood sugar issues in their body. So let's look at the next page of the Dexa scan. So this page is going to give us a clear picture of my bone density. And bone density is really important because we actually lose bone density as we age, but it's really critical in our overall health. And it also shows the potential risk for things like osteopenia and osteoporosis as we age. So if we see that these numbers are low on the Dexa scan, then it's a great opportunity to really refer someone out and get those things checked out at an early of an age as possible. Now you see this blue line here is about average, and you can see where my number is here. It's above average. So that would say that I'm pretty safe to say that my bone density is healthy. And then we have another little picture over here of a total body bone density just from another view. But you can also see on this picture, you can see that the yellow is fat and the orange is muscle. So you can see that the ratio is nice in this picture, and there's a lot less fat than there is muscle, which we did see on the first page. So that's kind of confirmation that there is a healthy fat to muscle ratio. So this is actually the last page that we're going to look at together, and this is the muscle mass balance analysis. So basically what we're looking at here is how even are we on all sides of the body. So when you look at your arms, you could have an imbalance of about 0.5 pounds or a half a pound each from one side to the other, and your legs can be about 1.5. So we want to try to get these in as close to range as possible. So you can see the difference in mine. The arms difference, I actually have no difference in my arms. They're exactly the same. The way I balance mine out is just I know that I'm right hand dominant, so I'm using that arm a little bit more. So the way I balance it out is to lift weights or lift an extra rep on my left side whenever I think about it when I'm doing weightlifting. And you can see that my legs, they're a little bit different, 0.2. So when we see a difference in these numbers, it actually can create imbalance in the body, and it can change our structural alignment. So if we're favoring one side over the other, then it can also cause imbalance in our structure or our frame. So we want to make sure that we keep these numbers in balance as well. So you can really see that this gives us a clear, balanced picture of what the body actually looks like. So someone can look at me and say, oh, she weighs 136 pounds, that's too heavy or that's too light, or have a judgment on that number as a whole. But we really don't know what 136 pounds looks like, right? I'm a 5'4" female weighing 136 pounds. Now, is that healthy or is that not? Well, honestly, it really depends on the ratios in the body. So the scale can show a lot of different things. I can get on that scale and some days I can be 130 and some days I can be 136, and it really has to do with the amount of inflammation in the body. It has to do with the amount of water we're taking in. Especially women, we tend to fluctuate in water. If we have a lot of carbohydrates the day before, we can have more water on board, just different things like that. So everything goes into account when we're looking at the body and the weight of the body, but the scale doesn't really account for that. So one of my favorite things to do is to tell my clients to throw away the scale. And I haven't always given them a tool to replace that, but I want to encourage you. Mike Patterson is great. He's at Live Lean RX here in Houston. And if you're outside of the Houston area and you're looking for someone, I encourage you to look for someone that you can partner with to do a Dexa scan with. No, you're not going to be doing it once a month or once every 2 weeks or anything like that, but you're going to be doing it periodically. Most people can measure about every 60 to 90 days to really get an accurate picture. And to me, it's probably one of the most motivating things that I've done. I went with a goal in mind of having 25% body fat, and I actually surpassed that, and I didn't even realize it, so if you measure, then you can improve. So just remember that. I'm wearing my shirt today. It's very appropriate, and I think it's probably backwards. Test, don't guess. So I want you to remember that when you're considering your body weight and you're considering your body fat, your scale is an inaccurate test, but a Dexa scan can give you that complete picture. So I encourage you today, partner with Mike Patterson or someone in the area that can tell you a little bit more about this amazing tool and what it can do to benefit you and your health. Hey, this is Chelsea Ward, knowing we can all be happy, healthy, and whole.